Hello and welcome to the Transcendence Podcast. This is your host, Jessica Alstrom, and this will be my last podcast on the Transcendence Wellness Center as I am getting ready to launch my new website, Jessica Alstrom Quantum Life, which is going to be an entire community, an app linked with several books that I have coming out this year. So I wanted to give you this amazing podcast that I've been working on channeling lately with my TICA group and also just my higher self in my own private meditation council. And this podcast is predictions for 2017. I know for many of you out there, 2016 has been your roughest year. I can feel that energetically, vibrationally. I can see that the world as we know it has had extremely intense rebirthing and growing pains this year. I experienced this in 2015. 2015 was my hell year, and 2016 has been kind of a magical year of shifting for me. So if anyone who has been going through their own personal dark year of the soul, it's probably been 2016, stemming back from all the way, maybe even back to 2011. And that is basically when, the ascension flip got switched and everything really, really began to accelerate on our cosmic journey of, moving back into enlightenment as a species, as a collective, as oneness, back into our natural state of being. And so what I wanted to do is give a kind of collective prediction for 2017, what we can expect collectively, what we can expect individually, what we can expect from our integration process and from our transcendence process that we are very much underway. And I want everyone out there to be very aware that whatever is going on in your personal life, there's also an entire storyboard going on in the higher cosmos of your consciousness that if you would just take a minute to go into a higher perspective and feel with your body all that you are doing, it is a very quick way to be extremely proud of yourself. Because even though you may be fighting the good fight down below, with your mental abilities to logic what is unlogically happening within your body, within the world, within collective consciousness, there is an entire puzzle pieces that are fitting together where they have never been able to do that before in the higher realms. And you are becoming. And so my prediction for 2017 is the year of becoming, the year of the becoming. We are going to accelerate very quickly and move as close to higher selves as we've ever been as a species on planet Earth in 2017. And what 2016 was it was exposure. It was a fast forward button of all loose areas of karma. It was the deep aspect of reflection. Looking in the mirror in the dark is one thing, but looking in the mirror where there is literally a big light is much different. And that's what I would say that 2016 was. It was a reflection of like no other. You were seeing the past, you were seeing aspects of yourself through all different lenses, which means, before you woke up or before you became into, started your awareness journey, you saw yourself one way. And as you began to get aware, you started to see yourself from all these different relations, all these different aspects. And you see yourself in relation with these things that you're playing out around you versus being a total victim of circumstances. And as you become more and more and more aware, your responsibility level to own your own reality becomes more intense. And I think that that's pretty much what's happened in 2016 is we all know too much. We are all very studied and we are all very knowledgeable about the spiritual world. We know we create our realities. We know that that there's higher dimensions that we are vibrationally growing and expanding and aligning into. We know we know millions of healing modalities. We know cause and effect. We know the ego structure and components of our false selves. we know our childhoods, we know our intentions, we know our integrity points, we know our weaknesses. And in 2017, it's going to be an experience unlike anything any of us have ever, been through, because it will be brand new. 2017 is the beginning of a brand new timeline. It is the second paradigm of the New Age shift. So 2016 equals 9, in the numerology, and 9 is completion. So take a breath and know that whatever you're going through, and some of you have waited till the last year to throw all of your monkey riches into your game so that you could really, create a good amount of work for yourselves. A lot of you have done that. A lot of you, the last 3 months have been exhausting and excruciating and painful. And I promise you that you are just speeding through your birthing cycle. You could probably imagine what a caterpillar feels like being in a cocoon. And as it starts to grow bigger than the cocoon sac, it starts to get extremely uncomfortable. And the whole while, until it breaks free of that cocoon, still believes that it's a caterpillar. Even though there's wings in that cocoon, and the body has completely transitioned into what its new identity will be, it still believes that it is the old self. And so this is technically what is happening to all of us as we become, because we've all been asking our entire lives for, each other, for our families, for ourselves, to be able to experience that higher perspective that we've always felt at that gut level, of that power center, of that heart space. We've always wanted to be of service 10 times more than we've been able to be. And there's where a lot of our frustration has come. We've all wanted to move faster and grow faster and manifest more abundantly instead of more contracted. We've wanted to grow into the aspect of higher selves. And this is exactly what's happening. But because it feels brand new, because it feels uncertain, because you've never done this before, because none of us have experienced this particular timeline, there's no reference point. There's no understanding for us to know, oh yeah, I know what this feels like. Oh, yep, I've been there before. Because see, the ego lies in the comfort of going through things before. And even in the deepest levels of abuse, there is a certain comfort in knowing what that feels like to the small self. And so the small self will crave even the abuse when the self gets scared, because it's a knowing, it's a familiarity, it's comfort. And it's not a comfort that feels necessarily good or safe, but it is a comfort because it has experienced it before. And because your body is your biological computer, your body is completely programmed at a cellular level to who you've been. It knows exactly what you've been. It knows all your potential. It knows your weak spots. It knows your sabotage moments. It knows every aspect of you better than you do, because you're always in your conscious experience looking forward. You're looking sideways. You're looking at the world around you in relation to yourself. And so you aren't in the body with all the programming most of the time. And as the body begins to shift and open, and the DNA begins to connect back to its original state of 12 helix, it is going to be new, which means that the reference point is unknown, which will throw the ego into a fear process. And when you're in a fear process, because you are a living magnet, you will attract lots of circumstances around you to project how your subconscious mind feels. Which means that if you're at a cellular level feeling afraid of the unknown, then what will happen will be you will manifest a bunch of things to bring that fear to light. That's what you're doing right now. As enlightened doctorate, PhD, spiritual light workers that are the oldest souls that have ever been, you are embarking on a journey of remembering, putting yourself back together in that original state of being, which is closer to oneness and unity. And as you do that, you're going to bring anything that is unlike that light that is within you to the surface, so that you may see yourself through the aspect of the light, instead of seeing yourself through the aspect of wanting or desiring or needing something to change. Because when you see yourself you see the darkest parts of yourself at an enlightened state, it's very easy to love yourself. And, you know, we've all been on this spiritual journey for a really long time, and we know it's all about self-love. It's all about self-love. Well, I always say it's in two parts. Once you master enough self-love, your new desire is freedom. Your new desire is to be free in all aspects. And only when you are desiring freedom would you unwillingly know that you are already worthy. Because in order to want freedom, you have to know you're worth it. You have to know you deserve it. And those are the two components in 5D manifestation. That is, my book is coming out, is all about deserving. And the frequency, not just, oh, I deserve it, because we can all say that. But the body is not in resonance with that truth. And so we have to find and match the frequency of deservability. Find and match the frequency of self-love. And when we can look around at everyone and know that there is all these aspects of ourselves walking around, and some of them are completely without remembrance of love, and there's going to be where your negative behavior is, then it's very easy to love everyone knowing that you're looking through the eyes of a wounded child at the worst possible behavior. And I can guarantee you the things that trigger you the most are your set points to look within and find the wounded child within, because you are going to have the same exact wound being played out in a different state of being as the person you despise the most on the planet. And you can take a breath right there. What this is right now I'm giving you is cleanup, because 2017, there's going to be no space and time for you to be constantly reflecting on your nemesis, on the people who you think are holding anchor points into your life, the people who you think are holding you back, the things that are holding you back, your own chosen limitations that are holding you back. It's not that body that's holding you back. It's not that coworker. It's not that spouse. It's the agreement that you have made in your belief system that anyone could hold you back. And as we move into 2017, your life is going to start proving this to you. Your life is going to start proving this to you. Smaller towns and cities are going to start breaking away. Communities are going to start breaking away and becoming self-governed. And we can already see this as a huge reflection starting in 2012. Actually, even back in the 30s, this has all been becoming. We've all been becoming. And as we move into 2017, it's going to be the year of now action. See, we've been downloading and remembering and working on our frequencies and working in our workshop of imagination and fine-tuning our manifestation skills. And we've been doing this for years. And in 2017 is our action years. We're going to start putting pieces back together. We're going to start moving back into that power center and start actually living and walking the talk that we've been studying since we had our first encounter with a resonant point of truth. And there's a beauty to this. So as the predictions start working through itself, you become, your planet becomes one. And it will all happen very, very quickly once the momentum starts to build. So really right now what you're in is you're in cleanup. You're in spiritual cleanup. And as you're cleaning up your own reflective universe right now, you're finding the aspects of yourself where you've given yourself away. You're cleaning up aspects of your broken hearts. You're seeing that you're here to love yourself and that no one will ever love you outside of how much you love yourself first. And as soon as you download and really become self-love, then everyone around you is going to be a reflective point for you, yet you don't need it, because there's one secret that I will share of spirituality, and it is because everything goes back to frequency and vibration. That's why I teach at a quantum level. When you teach at a quantum level, you stay away from dogma, you stay away from religion, you stay away from ideals and, self-projected truths. When we stay in the quantum field of possibilities, there is only one truth, and that is everything is potential and everything is focus. And when you focus on something, you get it. And when you focus on something, you become it. And so understanding that point allows us to go back into a field of neutrality. So 2017 is going to be about making a neutral playing field for yourselves, for your community, for your world, for your entire civilization, and for the universe. And as soon as we move into that neutral set point, then basically what happens is that's a 0 point where we can create anything that we choose, which will be this new world that we've all seen in our meditations, that we've all imagined, that we've all been hearing the stories of and the prophecies of. And it's all going to be happening as soon as you move into neutrality with your own state of being. See, it's not about jumping into self-love and, domination and purpose and all these things that we think is going to satisfy all of our hurt within. Really, all it is about making your life neutral. And what is neutrality? It's new to my reality. And this is exactly what 2017 is. It's the year of neutrality. It's going to be the threshold point of the new paradigm that's going to allow us to shift in and create a life that is completely brand new without having to dive down into the memory centers to recreate. I've got a big workshop coming up in January called Act on Your Intention, and it's based in something called method acting. And it basically has nothing to do with trying to get your soul on board to who you are. You know exactly who you are at a soul spirit point. It is your body who is confused about who you've been and is unwilling and scared, like that child with PTSD, to move into that unknown butterfly effect. And so this Act on Your Intention is basically a quantum workshop that is there to allow and teach you how for 3 days to hold your body into quantum focus point of who you say you are, and allow the download, the frequency, the cellular memory to shift into the body so that you can become more easily. Some teachers call it quantum jumping. I call it a way of life. If you know me, I'm only focused on where I'm going. I'm not focused on where I've been. And this is why I'm teaching. And for you personally in your 2017 is the first thing you can ask yourself right now, if you feel like you're in that hurricane still, or you're feeling like you're treading water, is to ask yourself, what am I focused on? And what am I looking at? And understanding that your job right now is to not reach the highest place in the mountain. It's to find that place of neutrality. It's to find that plateau and to get on it and look at the view and look at what you've created and look at what you've overcome and look at what you've survived and look at what you're aware of that you weren't this aware of this time last year. Look at what you've accomplished. Look at the changes in the dynamic of your friends and relationships around you. Look at the conversations you have with yourself and the places of awareness that you've been able to get to this year. You've done a lot more than you're allowing yourself to integrate. And what is integration? Integrations is basically healing lost aspects of yourself that you've pushed and suppressed because you've been in judgment of self. And when you're in judgment of self, you will judge things around you. And when you judge things around you, then you feel like there is something outside of you that could hurt you. And that is when you develop that quantum focus of being a victim. And then your life becomes an ever playing role of victimization. Whether you're victimized by the body or you're victimized by your boss or you're victimized by your child, it doesn't really matter, because at the basis of the reflection point is you have first been in self-judgment, and then you have given that power to others and then felt as if you could possibly ever be judged. And so for the predictions coming up for the planet, I know a lot of people email me and ask me, when is disclosure going to happen? When are they going to come rescue us? When is the money going away? Well, let's go back to that point of neutrality. Neutrality means that you're fine with whatever is going on. When someone tells you a story that you've never heard before and it's nor triggering or exciting, it's just kind of, it's a place of neutrality where you don't really have an opinion about it. And I will tell you that money will go away when you no longer have an opinion about it. The ET disclosure that you're all waiting for those of you who are not in direct contact with ETs yet, they're waiting on your place of neutrality. Because if you've got a lot of stored fear about the unknown deep in your subconscious, your body wouldn't be able to handle the interactions in an awakened state, which means most of you are having those relationships in an unawakened state. Because again, when you're asleep, guess what? You're in a state of neutrality. Your brain is in theta. Your brain is in delta, which means you're not in defense. You're not deciding. You're not trying to logic what you're seeing, hearing, and feeling. You just are in full acceptance and surrender of. And this is the space that everyone can accelerate very quickly to if they would just look at every single thing that they're at war with right now and say, how can I create neutrality in this energy? How can I look at this person that I'm so angry with and find myself? Where can I find the exact same wound that is being played out by this person who is abusing me and see that wound within me, yet I'm playing it out in a different way? And I've given this example before because I've used my husband and a lot of times, my ex-husband a lot of times in my podcast, because he's been my greatest spiritual teacher, because honestly, he triggered me the most. And he would walk around in rage and it would throw me into a tailspin because I'd never behaved that way, nor was I ever allowed to behave that way. I was never allowed to raise my voice in my home. And so for someone so arrogantly just be able to walk around and scream and yell and voice their opinions, it was shocking. It was disgusting. It was scary to watch. And when I went within and I said, this is triggering me, I have to find my reflection of this, because I can't neutralize the energy unless I find my own reflection. So what I did was I sat down and I realized that my reflection is that my inner child was jealous. I had never been able to act that way before. And someone who was so free to be able to feel their feelings on the outside of their body instead of pushing and suppressing them deep within their body like I did, which created disease, it was freeing to realize that I was actually jealous. And that I could move into neutrality because, you know what? At that moment, I gave myself permission to be as loud in my feelings as I needed to be. And then I almost had respect for him in that way because I said, here's someone who's teaching me that it's okay to feel. Yes, they're doing it at an exaggerated rate, but how else would they get my attention? How else would this other me get my attention? And if you're following my teachings and you're following my book and you're following, this manifestation process that I love teaching about, I teach you that you're always manifesting from the three aspects of yourself: the me, myself, and I. The me is the ego, the myself is the body that holds all the memories and the identity constructs in place, and the I am, which is the world, the universe, the one, the God, the source. And there's three aspects on a macro level, because this is the micro version of you. The macro version of you is the you, which is your universe, which is the you that's walking around and talking. And then there's the other you, and that is the people who you've generated as a reflective object in your planet, in your world, to show you other aspects of yourself so that you may integrate. And so it's another me, myself, and I, except it's on a universal plane, whereas the you is the small you, the universe. And then the other you is the aspects of reflection. They're the people. They're the other you. And then the I am would be God, source. So it's all, again, is the micro and the macro of creation. So you can see that the work is never, ever, ever outside of you. Your 2017 is the year of becoming. So as you become, you start to self-govern. And what you notice is that now your planet can self-govern. Your environments can self-govern. Everyone you've projected out into office to get your attention, everything you've projected outwardly to get your attention is your spiritual teacher. Your reality is your guru. Circumstances are smoke and mirrors to let you know of where you've been holding your quantum focus so that you may make a new choice at your baseline, at your 0 point, at your place of neutrality. Once you've neutralized your own self-judgment, your life starts to accelerate very, very quickly. So I'll tell you in the coming weeks some advice that I have for the prophecy of 2017, which is the year of becoming, which is the year of the goddess, which is the year of the divine feminine, moving fully into her place of power. And I'm not talking about women. I'm talking about the divine, nurturing, powerful creation, sacral, root-based, power center, solar plexus energy that's going to be moving into its own spiritual enlightenment in 2017. Men, women, everyone. It's all going to be a place of uprooting and then growing from a new perspective. And the advice that I can give you for 2017 is do not spend time in the frequency of waiting. The frequency of waiting will cause a backup. It will cause you to prolong your own lessons that you've set forth, to fog up the mirror so that you cannot see your own reflection in others. Waiting is a frequency that creates the universal waiting, which means if you're waiting, the universe is waiting on you. You want $10 million, you actually have to go towards it and you have to become it. And those are two frequencies that all you have to do is match the energy of and become it. And so you will start to remember these other key elements of manifestation, which is exactly why I've written this book that's coming out in January, the physics basically of intention, and how it is all created into a manifestation process that involves no waiting. You stay in a high level of deservability, you're staying in a high level of service, and you're never dropping below the frequency of worthiness when you're manifesting. And this allows you to manifest very, very quickly without having to deal with a ton of your old memory-based cellular lessons that are popping up right now to become enlightened so that you can see where your own shadow aspects are. So the disclosure will come out when you've created neutrality, because for a lot of us teachers, disclosure happened in 2011. I started working with ETs in 2011. So it depends on when your threshold of neutrality starts to move forward and when you start to let go of judgment. And so as soon as you let go of judgment, you're going to have a rush of spiritual gifts move through your body, which means if you're psychic now, just wait. If you're putting your hands on someone and you're, able to get them into a place of agreeing into that healing and holding space for them to heal thyself, just imagine what you're going to do when you move into a state of neutrality. Because when you move into a state of neutrality, then you basically own the quantum field of possibilities, and you can become whatever you focus on in the given moment, because the energy that you're focused on is all you see. And so you instantly become, and that's 5D manifestation. And so as we all start to move into this becoming, anytime you feel as if you're waiting, that would be when I would go within and I would look at where am I judging and what am I afraid of. And I would really, get with a coach or get with someone who will allow and hold space for you to see your blind spots, because that's what we do as coaches. Is we're never really actually healing or guiding you. We're holding space and we're holding a reflective mirror of your highest level of higher self so that you may see who you really are and help work through the things that you're not. So for my becoming in 2017, I have basically given Transcendence Wellness Center to all of my graduates of TICA. And TICA is Transcendence International Consciousness Academy. And so any graduate who has moved into the role of spiritual teacher now physically owns Transcendence Wellness Center as their own platform for spiritual teaching. And I have moved into Jessica Alstrom Quantum Life, which is a platform of my retirement. And as I retire from the one-on-one process, I have taught teachers all over the world to move into that place of one-on-one life coaching, spiritual development, training, accelerated intention, workshops, and things like this all over the planet. And as I move into Jessica Alstrom Quantum Life, what I'm actually going to do, because I'm not ready to give up coaching, but I will tell you that everybody's going through exactly the same things from a different level of personality center, that I've decided to do global coaching. And I'm going to do it through a online group forum. So because I know that we're here as humans to create freedom, abundance, and self-love in time, relationships, health, and money, I know that it is easy for me to coach hundreds of thousands of people at one time versus one person. And if you've been following my podcast, I'm sure at some moment you're like, oh, wow, she's like in my head right now. And that is because I am you. And you couldn't hear my voice if I wasn't an aspect of higher self. And you wouldn't understand me. That's why some teachers resonate and some teachers don't. It's because we are connected from a higher perspective as an oversoul, and we set ourselves up to find ourselves, to remind ourselves of who we really are. And that's why I've trained teachers all over the planet, because each teacher holds a different remembrance and a different story that is going to activate and have a resonant point for your story. And so if my story is not resonating with you, all you have to do is go to Transcendence Wellness Center and look at the service page where all the new graduates are, and they've been personally quantumly trained underneath me to be that resonant point for you, which means that maybe my demographic isn't resonant to you. Maybe you're not a 40-year-old mom with 4 kids, who's doing community living and homeschooling. Maybe you're, a 22-year-old, who's dealing with all different dynamics, which is exactly why we have a spiritual teacher who's now in the platform of that. So what I wanted to do is in 2017 is introduce my new online coaching platform. And all you have to do to find this, and it will be, I have 2 groups. I have a free group, and it's called Jessica Alstrom Quantum Life Free. And I will be spending about an hour and a half a day teaching and coaching live on this free group. So if you're not on Facebook, you need to create a profile and then join my group. And I will be doing my live coaching videos, podcasting on that group from now on. And if you want accelerated teaching and training, I will be coaching about 4 hours, 3.5, 4 hours a day in my paid group, which is $22 a month. And that is going to be accelerated podcasts that will not be on YouTube. That will be workshops that are not on YouTube. That will be a lot. It'll probably be 1,000 hours of training that you can get for $22 a month. Plus, I will be live on there, answering questions, helping you work through things in private message and out in the community so that all can see, so that I don't have to retire completely from coaching. I do develop a lot of modalities through coaching, and so I'm not ready to walk away and just become like a hermit author who travels. I really want to stay plugged in. I will tell you the secret to enlightenment is to stay plugged into a community that feeds your higher knowing. Whenever I've had a dark night, I've always just plugged in to my non-physical support group. And I've always remembered who I was. And so that's another reason why I'm doing this coaching platform, is so that you can have a constant place to plug into. I'm going through this today. What does this mean? I'll jump on and do a live video for the group throughout the day, and be doing just a lot of coaching, and training. Basically been life coaching for the past 15 years. And for the last 7 years, I have been coaching every single day, pretty much 7 days a week. And so there's nothing that you're going through that I haven't already encountered. I don't have the ability to judge, so everything is neutral. I will tell you, in my particular groups, you're going to get a lot more raw version of me. I really like to share my dark nights and my obstacles and my personal challenges, and let you see in real time how I'm working through them. I am not this teacher who's like, yeah, everything's perfect. If, someone sues me, you're going to hear about it. And I'm going to tell you how, from my higher perspective, I neutralize the energy and change the parallel reality and shift into an aspect where that's not happening. And I'm going to be able to share this with you in real time, because there's nothing that you've gone through that I haven't been through. I have chosen every single form of abuse, addiction, low point, in order to move above it so I can teach from it. This is my purpose on the planet, is to be as comfortable in the shadows as I am in the light, and to be able to be there with a place of complete neutrality and non-judgment for every single one of you that is still needing that guidance and that message and that confirmation on your journey. So if you're interested in following my coaching platform, there's going to be a free version and there's going to be a paid version, and it's the same name, just one of them says free, and that's on Facebook, and it is Jessica Alstrom Quantum Life. I will be doing a lot of channeled readings for the upcoming year, and helping you all bring your higher selves forward. I will be holding you all accountable and reminding you to stay in the highest level of appreciation and acceptance for yourselves as we go through this journey together. And you can check out my new website, which is jessicaalstrom.com. We've got an app coming out that's going to have guided meditations, breath sequences to help you get through the day with any time your body goes back into the old timelines of your old PTSD. We're working on developing lots of fast forward buttons. So basically my intention is to teach you all in 7 minutes, 7 days, 7 hours, 7 weeks, what it has taken me 7 years to master. And I've got the cheat codes, I've got the shortcuts, and I will let you know that whatever you're going through is perfect for who you're becoming. And so just know you're going through your rebirthing cycle right now, no matter how, bleak it feels or scary or, uncomfortable you are right now. It is your beautiful butterfly effect that it's coming into form. And I cannot wait to work one-on-one with you and in a group and show you that we are all one. Because if I can do it If I can coach just like I do in a one-on-one session with 100,000 people over the next, 6 months, then you will see how much of one being we really are without losing that beautiful, unique, purposeful, amazing perspective that you came in to hold to share your own light. So I'll leave you with that. And from now on, you can go to Jessica Alstrom on YouTube. You can go to Jessica Alstrom on Facebook and check us out. I will still do a few podcasts here and there for the general public, but most everything is going to be on the group because I want to be able to, instead of answering 100 emails a week, I want to be able to just hop on that group and answer you directly if you have something for me in the moment after one of my podcasts, and that will keep me in touch with the planet and you and collective, and we can all move as teachers as one. I don't believe in false idols. We are all walking this journey side by side. None of us are above, and this is just a really great platform for us to all move forward together hand in hand. I wish you a blessed 2017. I promise you, you are going to become that hero that you've always needed. You're going to become the love of your life. You are the soulmate you seek. And I can't wait to be there and watch it all unfold. So enjoy the ride, surrender, don't wait, fully accept where you are, and whisper under your breath, I deserve it.